fluid game has captured the hearts of the entire South American continent. They will live and die with his every shot today. This Australian Open finalist has cruised to the final here this week without the loss of a set. If he wins today, he will cartwheel to a career-high #3 on the tour rankings. But to do so, he'll have to get by big serving Brit Greg Rusedski, whose 149-mile-an-hour blast yesterday was the fastest ever recorded. A few years ago, Rusedski had little else but a big serve. But hard work has given him a dangerous all-round game, which he has ridden into the US Open final and the top 10. His prize for winning today, a career-high #3 world ranking. It's Rios of Chile. Against Britain's Rusedski, coming up next on ESPN. This first Mercedes Super 9 is played in a little corner of Southern California that's a sports playground protected from LA's bustle by the San Bernardino Mountains. It's Indian Wells, and it hosts a player's favorite event, the Newsweek Champions Cup. Today, Australian Open finalist Marcelo Rios of Chile takes on, from Britain, US Open finalist Greg Rusedski. Marcelo Rios and Greg Rusedski for this championship match of the first major event on the ATP Tour for this year. Hello, and all the way to the US Open final. This man played the Australian Open final brilliantly. He had actually quite a good draw there at the Australian Open, and then Peter Korda just ripped him in the final easily.
Well, he came back to beat Korda here. Korda actually could have taken over #1 spot in the rankings if he had won this event. See, Rios has an excellent record this year, 18-3, won a lot of matches. He won a tournament in Auckland just before the Australian Open, and there you see his road to the final. He's cruised through the draw. He had a bye in the first round, then he took out 2 Germans, Dreekman and the young talent Nicholas Kiefer, 4-3. Then that straight set win over Korda, 4-2, another easy win, and then tough first set against Jan-Michael Gamble last night. Was down a set point, actually, Rios, but he managed to squeak that out 6-3.
Gamble actually accused him of some lack of sportsmanship as well during the match, delaying tactics and the like. But let's talk about Rusedski, 24. London, England is home for him. He's actually moved from Canada to England. He's playing for Great Britain now in the Davis Cup. But in truth, he lived in London for about 5 years before he made that move. He likes it there a lot. You can see his ranking as of now. And his earnings are getting into some serious numbers now after the success that he's had at the end of last year and this year.
Definitely the French Open on clay, and he's showing how well he can play on hardcourt. He'll be a threat at the US Open as well.
Boy, I agree with that, and he has played some great hardcourt tennis. And remember, the loser will be #5 in the world regardless.
Right. Both these guys will be in the top 5, and Mr. Rusedski has taken a quick bathroom break, so we'll be right back for the start. First Super 9 of the year.
Today.
Marcelo Rios. He is a tactician type of a player. Really studies the game.
Actually, he's one of the few players that will go out there sort of quietly and watch the other players play and become totally absorbed in it.
That's so true. He's always out there sneaking on the backcourts, watching matches. I saw him actually at the beginning of the week watching Gamble play against Philippoussis. At that point, that was a first round match. Who would have thought that he would end up playing Gamble in the quarters, and it paid off for him? I think that gamesmanship that you were talking about from Gamble in that match was Rios taking a bathroom break. Oh, nice play from Rusedski. They had a break right before the tie break started in their semifinal, and then they came out to warm up, and then Rios went back up to the bathroom, and there's a nice slice from Rusedski.
And it worked for Rios, because from there on in it was all Rios.
Really dominated that first set tie break. Seemed to disturb the concentration of the 20-year-old American Gamble. Rios just pinpoint accuracy with that passing shot. He takes a little steps on his feet. He's got such perfect positioning. Serve versus return. Rios wins 84% of his service games. That's 12th. That's decent. 17% though for Rusedski. That's key because that's very low.
It is, however, balanced by how well he serves and the high percentage of games that he wins on his own serve.
We'll see that, I'm sure, when Rusedski gets ready to serve, how high that is. That's what he was doing in the beginning of the Australian Open final against Korda. He was shanking a lot of balls. Very nervous in his first Grand Slam final. Korda started that match a little tight as well, but then really loosened up and drilled Rios 2-2-2 in that final. Rios is now this is his third Mercedes Super 9 final. He won on clay last year in Monte Carlo and lost the Rome final. Rusedski out rallying Rios right now. And this is where it gets very dangerous because Rusedski's serve is so big and he gets on a roll on it. You cannot afford to get down an early break against this man.
Break point here.
That's the play that Rios is going to have to use a bit more, and that's what worries Rusedski, trying to pass off the backhand side. And I'm sure that's in the scouting report of Marcelo Rios, along with his coach, Larry Stefanki, to attack the backhand, because Rios can volley very proficiently.
Another break point for the Brit.
Rusedski feels that when he's playing baseliners, that he doesn't want the baseliner controlling the play. He's trying to take it to the baseliner in Rios today. They're chipping and charging and dictating with the slice backhand.
Well, I disagree, Luke. I think Rusedski is just going to try to stay in the point and just try to use that slice, but Rios is going to be the one moving him around.
Out of reach, and it is deuce.
So where Rusedski's improved is that he's able to stay in the point a lot longer from the baseline. He's not going to out-hit Rios. He's not going to make Rios move too much. He's just going to try to keep the ball in play and hope Rios makes a couple errors and then look for the short ball and chip and get in.
Yeah, that's what I mean, Patrick. With this slice backhand, he doesn't get hurt. The ball stays low, and a guy like Rios can't tee off and move him around.
Chip approach shot is wide, and this is game point now for Rios. Rios beat Korda here just about as easily as Korda beat Rios at the Australian. It was a straight set of 4-2, and then Rios took out Jan-Michael Gamble of the US, who had beaten Agassi.
A slice again from Rusedski. I think it's maybe a better play for Rios, as you mentioned, Luke, to play the Rusedski forehand a bit more because the ball will sit up a little more for Rios.
Yeah, Rusedski's forehand has a lot of spin on it, and it really doesn't penetrate, go through the court. So it's good for a baseliner like Inquist was doing the other day. Hit to the forehand, the ball sets up, and then you can take advantage of a nice high ball.
Nice, and there's the first game to Rios in trouble. Down, it was 2 break points, wasn't it? And he came back and he holds on. So the Chilean leads 1-0 over the Brit Rusedski in this final match. Best of 5. Rusedski to serve to Marcelo Rios. Rios leading 1-0 in the first set. The Senior PGA Tour in Newport Beach, California, just a couple of hours drive from here for the Toshiba Senior Classic. Pam Schraub actually said she was going to go there. After the first 2 rounds, Hugh Green, like that, 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
I'm slightly offended that Pam didn't stay for the men's final. I'm out there watching the women's final yesterday. Hingis and Davenport. Come on, Pam.
Out. Love 15. Rios wasn't even sure that the serve was good.
Rios likes to work the lines people in the chair umpire. There's Rusedski's serve, as I was talking about. 93% leads the tour, but Rios' return up at 36%, and that's second on tour.
Better than 1 in 3. It's an amazing statistic.
Well, he's just warming up. Rusedski 141. Oh, that's what Rios can do. He can dip the return at the feet. And Rusedski is not great on the half volleys, and that's a smart play. There's the half volley right there, and he just sits that sit up, and perfect preparation from Rios, and you cannot read the Chilean shots.
The speed gun technology is apparently a little different in this court. Let's clarify that for everybody now. So these records that you see on the serves are maybe partly due to the measuring device.
Well, deja vu, and this time on the forehand side. Rios dips the return. That's so important for Rusedski to get his first serve in today.
Break points here for Rios.
Rios' hand-eye coordination is just unbelievable. 3 break points now.
Rusedski started out poorly against Enquist as well, remember?
That's down 4-love in that first. Just goes wide.
There's the break. 1 game, make that 2 games to love for a set.
Well, that's how he started. There's Larry Stefanki, Marcelo Rios' coach, really chomping on the gum. Gonna be happy with that. Quick turn of events, saved the break point in the first game, and just like Luke was on target, that Rusedski may be a little tight coming out today in his first Mercedes Super 9 final. He played a pretty big final last year at the U.S. Open. He got on a streak after he got down 4-love to Enquist in that match. He only won 1 point on his first 2 service games, and then he went 25 straight points without losing a point on serve.
Marcelo Rios is a very interesting and a different kind of a character. Bob Brett says that people say he's bad, which is what a lot of people say, but he says he finds him more interesting than bad, and I kind of agree with that. He is just different. The guy will not shake your hand. The niceties of life are not something that he pays any attention to or is at all interested in.
He shook my hand. What are you talking about?
The guy is
What's Bob Brett saying there?
He's very strange. He has a reputation on the tour and among the press. He gets the Lemon Award every year at the French Championships. He has the last couple of years for being so ornery with the press.
He's being real ornery right now with Greg Rusedski, mixing his serves up as he's done so well all week. Actually real high up in the percentage of service games won here, Rios. Doesn't have that big serve, but really opens up the court with the serve.
Well, there's a plane up there that's bothering Rios, but not Rusedski's game. 3-love, first set. Rios on the right of your screen. The serve is just an excuse really to get the ball in play. Just take a look how quickly he will raise this arm, the serving arm. Let's see it. There it goes right up. There's a relatively short swing, very compact. Nice motion at the stage. Let him come through and hit the ball. Not too high a ball toss. It drops about a couple of feet and then he hits it. As for Rusedski, you see he has started here on a sideways motion. Let's watch him go through the ball. He drops it and it goes on up there. Keep it going. And now just take a look at this full extension. Arm is there. The racket is waiting to hit the ball. Now watch him go into the ball. This is a big power serve, the fastest in the business. That's where the power comes from, that full shoulder rotation. Now a look at Rusedski as he serves here down 3-love.
Oh, what a shot from Rios right there. Rusedski picked up that backhand volley pretty nicely and sliced it up the line, but look at this forehand on the run. Marcelo Rios dips this one, and then early preparation. Look at the quick steps. He just rips that one.
And followed by the ace.
That pass again right into your living room. Look at Rios. Look how low this ball is, and he's able to flick it. Phenomenal shot.
Is he as quick as somebody like a Michael Chang, Patrick?
He has probably better anticipation. I wouldn't say he's faster than Chang, but he takes the ball maybe even earlier. And he can cover some ground, but he reads the court so well, Cliff. And I disagree with you slightly on the serve. I mean, Rios, he obviously doesn't have the big bomb that Rusedski has, but he really uses his serve to open up the court. And then to play his next shot.
That's true. I mean, I was exaggerating just to make my point. For Rusedski, though, it's all important. Whereas for Rios, it's sort of, as you said, a way to open up the rest of the point.
More of a setup shot. The Chilean.
3-1 Rios.
When he's serving well, as he's been doing this week, it makes it that much tougher because he's always going to put pressure on your serve. And if he can win some service games easily, it gives him a lot of confidence and makes his opponent very intimidated. I like the fact that Rios is looking to get in and put the pressure on Rusedski because, as Luke mentioned, Rusedski can keep the ball in play with that slice, and if you don't come in, it can really make you work hard. You got to try to finish the point. There's an ace number 1 for Rios. Again, the thinking player, Rios, swings that serve out wide. And glides into the net. Never looks like he's rushing, Cliff. I think that's what makes him, he doesn't look like he doesn't scurry around the court well, but he's always in the right position.
He's a beautiful mover, and that's the fact. He has tremendous timing and great balance, Marcelo Rios. And he's also making short work so far of Greg Rusedski. 4-1. 1 break. Marcelo Rios leading 4-1. He has not lost a set in the championship yet, and in the Mercedes Super 9 championships going back to, let's see, where is it, back to 1972. 4 of them have won it without losing a set, including 3 last year. Rios winning Monte Carlo without losing a set. That's a heck of an effort.
Ooh, that was some heat. 142 up the middle, but just long. That's why I think Tony Picard is helping Rusedski with his finish on the volley. He really moved through that backhand volley. Of course, Stefan Edberg, Tony's former pupil, was probably the best backhand volley, or one of the best, in the modern era of tennis.
Definitely.
Of course, your pal Tony Roche was pretty solid.
Yeah, I was thinking about
volley.
him.
Mr. Rod Laver, the Rocket.
And Mr. Roy Emerson had a pretty good backhand volley, too.
Saw the Rocket out here. He's been enjoying the last couple days, playing a little tennis, golf.
He's the man. He's the only one ever to win 2 Grand Slams. And meanwhile, Rusedski nearly won his first Grand Slam at the US Open last year, beaten by Patrick Rafter 4 sets in the final. Here it is 4-2.
Well, Luke, Rusedski seems to have found his rhythm on serve here anyway.
Yeah, he wasn't happy with the way he played at the US Open last year against Rafter. And, you know, the beginning here, he really wanted to get off to a good start, and that's not been the case. If he could have converted on that first game, he had a couple of break points against Rios, maybe got an early break, but that hasn't really transpired. It's Rios who's dictating.
trying to come over that backhand and just doesn't really have that shot as of yet. He's working on it to try to add that to his repertoire, but you can see a little uncomfortable on that attempted backhand. Rios continuing to put the pressure on. Puts up 30 love, throws in a little serve and volley. That's a smart play against a guy who loves to chip the return, because it makes the returner at least think that, hey, maybe the guy might come in. I can't just throw it back deep.
There's an ace from Rios. If there's a word that describes his game to me, Patrick, it's control. The guy seems to be so together today. 5-2 Rios, first set. Games to 2, first set, taking on Greg Rusedski, U.S. Open finalist. ESPN's coverage of tennis continues from Key Biscayne. It's the Lipton Championship starting next Sunday at midnight on ESPN. Got some deuce coverage in the middle of the day too, so we will have coverage on ESPN and ESPN2 for the Lipton.
You can bet that Mr. Pete Sampras and Mr. Andre Agassi are going to go into that championship with title aspirations, because Sampras walked out of here very disappointed with his performance, Cliff, against Mooster, and very frustrated. And anytime that happens to Pete Sampras, usually comes back strong. And Andre Agassi, I think,
he didn't seem to be that disappointed.
No, but I think for him that's even a positive, because he'll go in with a little more confidence, continued confidence from the way he's played this year.
One of the big questions with Agassi is whether he's going to be seeded or not. I mean, if he gets seeded like 32 or something like that.
Yeah, they seed an extra 16 there. They seed 32.
Which I don't like, but the point is that if he gets ranked 32, he might have to play Sampras in like in the 3rd round or something.
Yeah, he's probably hoping not to get seeded.
Exactly.
It's going to be right on the bubble for that seeding when the rankings come out tomorrow, the new rankings. Of course, the winner of this match will be number 3 in the world. The loser will be number 5. So you're looking at 2 top 5 players.
15 all.
I'll tell you, Rios is just playing a tactician's dream of a match right now. Just bunting the return low at the feet, giving himself plenty of time on the return. Absolutely ripped that pass. Here are the rankings again. Felnikov went out early here. Bjorkner's been struggling this year. Michael Chang went out with an injury to his knee. He had to pull out. He was a defending champion at the Newsweek Champions Cup. He hopes to be ready for the Lipton. Probably be out of the top 10 after this when the new rankings come out, Chang. Losing all those points from last year.
30 all.
Oh my goodness.
It's a symphony, isn't it?
It's getting better and better, Cliff. What a forehand return right here. He smacks this one. Rusedski does great to get this back with a little finesse. But look at this at the last second. That is a beauty.
Break point for Rios and set point.
Look at him. Way he was about to just rip it, and then he just bunts it. Set point.
Reach.
I thought he was going to hit that for a winner.
There was a shot attempt there, but it wasn't in line for him.
He's made a few of those. I've seen him make a couple of those. So much control, so much feel.
Deuce.
It's the first serve that's really letting Rusedski down, and Rios is getting a good look at that second.
I think that's a great point, Luke, because I think even though Rusedski has probably the best or one of the 2-3 best first serves in the business, I think his second serve not quite as good as Sampras's. Even maybe Patrick Rafter's got a nice kick on the second. So there you go. At least gives you a chance to look at it. Rios has seen it very clearly. That one had a little more umph on it, though. That second.
Rusedski saves another one, and it is deuce. 5-2 Rios.
Like Rafter and Edberg, you know, those guys could really follow it up with a good, solid first volley. And I think Rusedski doesn't have enough stick on that first volley and gets him in trouble.
There it is again. He's got so much control. Not only when you go to his body, but out wide. He was at full stretch on that return, and it looked like the was just a routine little dipper.
Set point.
Third set point here, Cliff.
And third save. Remember that even if Rios doesn't win this game, he will serve for it. He's got a big lead. Now game point for Rusedski.
Only his second ace, which is low for Rusedski. So he seems to be harder to a lot of aces against Rios because he's so great with his anticipation and reads the serve so well. Jean-Michael Gamble had come into the tournament, into the match with him leading the tournament in aces. He only had 6 aces against Rios last night.
Maybe it says something about Rios' speed, doesn't it? And anticipation.
Well, here are the two of them combined right here. Rusedski, nice that volley, and look at the flick on that forehand. And quick, let's see how low his legs are. That gives him great balance. So explosive.
Deuce. Marcelo Rios as a kid liked riding a bicycle, and like just about every young kid in Chile, soccer was a big game for him. But they moved to a country club community there with a golf course, and there were tennis courts there as well. A lot of his friends were taking tennis lessons, so he fell in step with them. By the time he was 10, that's what he wanted to be, a tennis player. Rusedski holds on. It is 5 games to 3. He's walking to the side. Maybe Luke to pick up another racket. What is he doing down there, Luke?
I guess we lost.
And I think actually he went for the hat. He didn't go for change of racket. His son's right in his face from his side of the court.
When Rios was 16 years old, over the objection of his parents, he decided to leave school and become a full-time tennis player.
Loves to step around and hit that inside-out forehand there.
Rios serving for the set, 15 low.
I think Rios is playing off the ground right now. Rusedski has got to try to get in a little bit earlier. Again, Rios takes the opportunity to come in on the Rusedski backhand. Man, such an intelligent match so far.
Rusedski's not making any kind of passing shot at all. I think at this point you've got to try to roll it at the feet of Rios if he's going to come in.
The times that he has come in, he's been passed pretty comfortably by Rios. 2 points from the set for Rios.
Oh, that's still a good play from Rios. The second serve, he's up 30 love. Remember the last 2 games he came in at 30 love on first serves, but Rusedski was on top of this return on the backhand, short backswing.
I like that play from Rusedski because I think he's got to make the move. He's got to take it to Rios. If he stays back with him, he's just going to come second.
Well, Rios knows that. That's why he throws in a little serve and volley every now and then to mix it up. First times in a backcourt rally that Rusedski actually made Rios move a couple steps, forced the error.
A change of pace there from him too, because he sliced a few of them and then he came over one backhand, threw in just a little different look. 30 all.
Going in, but it was going out. It's going wide. I was too quick. Yeah, I was too fast.
Rios is ticked off because the umpire Lars Graf said let first service before the lines person had actually made an out call. Well, there's the play, Cliff, but then again, too much time for Rios. Has a couple words for the chair umpire, but exquisite timing right here. This ball just doesn't make him move, and if you don't make Rios move to hit a shot, just pick you apart.
I guess not, but I mean, that approach is right down the middle, and he had to find his own angle, and he did, but it's not that easy.
Especially at 30 all.
Set point. Marcelo Rios needed only one serve break, and he got it. Marcelo Rios leading Greg Rusedski 6-3. This is the best of 5 sets. We're live at Indian Wells. Rios in control of the first set against Rusedski. Greg Rusedski is going to turn this thing around. He's going to have to get to the net and make some volleys. His technique is very good. Just take a look at him here. Watch how he keeps his eye on the ball. He's moving forward the whole time, and he gets very low on this volley. It's really important, if the ball is low, to bend your knees, get low, and keep the racket head. Freeze it there. See how the racket head is above this wrist area? You see how forward the ball is. Just take a look at this. Now, all right, let's roll it. Keep going, keep going. See how low he gets? Look at that stage there. You see how low his knees, nearly touching the ground, but the racket head stays up. Perfect, perfect position for an outstanding volley. But he's going to need to hit him, and hit a lot of them. Well, first point, second set. Sorry.
He hasn't been at all successful so far, and then he gets that technique isn't working, or at least he's not backing it up, because he's only won 6 out of 19 points so far net. All right, Cliff, he's going to have to step up and I think volley from a little closer to the net.
He's going to keep coming in. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know how to have the stats down here, but it just seems like he's getting down early in the service game. He's getting down love 15, getting down love 30, and he's hitting a lot of second serves, and that's going to kill him throughout this match.
You read the stats right, Luke, because we just had that graphic up, and his first serve percentage is 33%.
That's the killer.
That's where he's getting killed, on second serves.
30. See, that's not too bad. Okay, he went for a second serve, but he's up 30 love. But if he's at 15 all, 15 30, he's got to get a first serve in.
Oh.
Not like that call.
I think that one was on the line. A few whistles from the crowd who agree with this. Yeah, that was right on the line. That one was on the line too. Just the other line. Well played, and it's game point. Where is it?
When you're missing a lot of first serves, it's good to take a little off. Go for a big kick. Get in tight like Patrick was saying, and Rusedski can knock off the volleys.
He usually does that. Rusedski mixes his serves up. He doesn't always go for the heater, but I think because of how well Rios returns, he's forcing his serve a little too much. I think Luke's right. He's got to mix it up a bit, keep Rios on his toes.
One way or another, he's going to have to win his serve, because Rios has not looked vulnerable on his yet. 1 game to love, second. Rusedski has won the first game of the second. Rios won the first set 6-3. It is Rios to serve. Tonight on ESPN, National Hockey League, Colorado Avalanche, first place in the Pacific Division, take on the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. Still battling for a place in the playoffs. NHL, ESPN, tonight, 8 p.m.
Patrick, your Rangers are going down fast, man.
It's not pretty. Rios continuing to serve well. From Rusedski, but Rios just picking him apart from the baseline. He can whip that forehand inside out or hook it up the line.
30 love.
Rusedski trying to take a little time, because Rios, as you mentioned, Cliff, he's winning the service game so easily since that first game of the match. Hasn't been in any trouble on serve since then.
Quick reminder, it's best of 5 sets here, so it's relatively early. this match. Larry Stefanski is the coach of Marcelo Rios. Coached your brother for a while too, didn't he?
Coached me a little bit too. Coached myself and Jonathan Stark. There's Larry in the middle of your screen there.
Anyway, he says in Santiago, Marcelo walks on water. And when he gets a dose of that, I try to bring him back. Tell him that this game is not that little tiny capsule down in Chile, not to be affected by that incredible fame.
Well, remember at the Australian Open this year, Cliff, when we were staying in the hotel with the players, and Rios every morning was in the gym, whether he had a match or whether he didn't have a match. I actually practiced with him a couple times there. Always was in the gym before he'd even go to practice or play his matches.
Including on days when he had a match.
Right, he's not taking his talent for granted, I think, and I think that's what's turned his motivation around a little bit, his outlook. Oh,
that is good.
Oh, just holds that backhand to the last second. Rusedski forced to move. Watch the way Rusedski is looking here. You can't see him, but at the last second, you see Rusedski's just on top of the net. He can't even take a step after that one.
Rusedski with the ace, 30-15, but that topspin lob is such a difficult shot to pick. In our command central position here at ESPN on site at the Newsweek Champions Cup. I was in there the other day and this telephone rings and there's this guy from Chile wanting to know just exactly what the score was in Marcelo's match. It's extraordinary how much. He's the most famous man, they say, in all of Chile, including the president. He's by far their biggest sports star. Rusedski holds on. Command Central says we have to take a break, so we will while the players do. First set, 6-3. Second set, 2-1. Rusedski, U.S. Open finalist.
Sponsor thinks that his tournament is the best thing since the moon landing, but I hear it from the players who love to be here.
Rick Smith, I would tell you, editor-in-chief of Newsweek, thanks for your support of the great game of tennis. They have a decade-long association with this tournament. They've seen it grow and grow to what it is today. And Charlie Passerelle, who runs this event, let's just tell you quickly that he is thinking about moving it and making it even bigger. Not moving it far, in fact, just a few blocks away.
Outgrown and a coziness that's here that the players, that the fans love so much. Not just this center court, but the outside courts, the clubhouse court. We showed you some matches from out there earlier. Packed house today, 11,500. Great crowds all week.
Passerelle wants to make it the West Coast version of the U.S. Open, and you know, he dreams that boy. He's a dreamer, but he can do it. 30-15.
That's bad luck for Rusedski because he really put some mustard on that approach right there. He's played a little bit of a better game here. He played a good point the first point. He chips this low, and Rios is forced to get real down low for that one. And he mishits that, and it drops well in. Rusedski had a good shot to hit that volley, elected to let it go. It landed well in. Another easy hole for the Chilean.
2-all, second set. Stefanski had an interesting quote in a Tennis Magazine piece on his man, and that was this. He said, with Marcelo, everything is about feeling the ball. Well, I've got news for him. Heart and guts come into it, too. And right now, he's the only guy in the top 10 who's yet to win a match on heart and guts. Pretty hard on his man. But at that time, obviously true, and I think he's seeing a different Rios here.
he's got that. Oh! Runs into a little ball kid over there, knocks one of the drink canisters over, but Rusedski read that, and Rios obviously had the line well open, but he thought Rusedski was going to slide over there.
Well, guys, the Rios-Stefanki partnership hasn't always been smooth. Stefanki's going to tell him how it is, tell Rios, and keep it real. And this is really the second time they've been together. The first time, Stefanki felt the guy was out of shape. He wasn't playing with a lot of guts. And so they actually parted for a while. Rios struggled and then called him back and said, hey, whatever it takes, you just tell me what I need to do. And Stefanki said, hey, you've got to be in better shape than me, man. You got to be in better shape than the coach. He started going to the gym, doing the extra things that make him a great player.
2 games all, second set, 30 love now for Rusedski. Oh, wow. I thought he was going to have to lob that and flick it. Flick this pass. How low this ball stays, and Rios is able to get under the ball so well.
How many options does Rios have? You know, you look at it and he can lob it. Obviously, that one he could have gone down the line because it was running forehand, but no, like your brother did so well. Flicks it cross court at the last minute. I never saw anybody hit that shot better, by the way, than your brother, John.
That running forehand cross court.
Yeah.
He got it short into the court, too. Rusedski's first serve percentage still very low, in the high 20s right now.
And it's so important to him to serve.
It seems like he's muscling it, guys. I mean, Rusedski's just throwing it up and trying to hit it as hard as he can instead of trying to find a real good rhythm.
Now he's down to 24%. That's what I was talking about earlier, Luke. I really think he's just going for too much on the first. Maybe too much respect for the Rios return.
Big point. 30 all, no breaks in the second yet. And if he gets broken, look out.
Even throwing some of those type serves in on the first serve, I think would.
The spinners.
And I think
mess with excuse me, Luke, would just mess with Rios' timing a little bit.
I think you're right, and I think Rusedski plays fast anyway. But you see, he's starting to slow himself down. Rusedski's trying to compose himself. He's hitting a lot of the first serves in the net because he's pulling his head down.
Again, Rios so quick to move inside the court. I think, Cliff, that's what he does better than most players who are traditionally South Americans or Europeans who play well on clay. Watch the return right here, and watch the way he moves into the net. And also a quick reaction, and he gets into the court so well. There's a lot of baseline players that move well around the baseline, but don't move forward that well. Rios does it all.
There is a first serve, and while you guys were talking about first serve percentages, let me just add this. He had a 73% first serve percentage against Musta. I mean, how different is that?
Well, Musta doesn't return nearly as well as Rios does, and I think that he mixed his serve up a little bit more. He didn't always go for the big one. Still hanging in there. Well,
did not go away. You know, that's the point. He's still hanging in. It's only the second set. It's best of 5. And we're on serve in the second. Rios to serve, and we come back. Here with the serve. You'll see the return of serve from Rios on the left. Okay, run it, guys. Watch Rios's reaction as Rusedski's throwing the ball up. This is a first serve now. Keep watching. Hold it there now. Freeze. You see there, you see Rios is just about off the ground. He hasn't decided whether this is going to go this way or this. And at this point, as you can see, the server is about to hit it. Now watch what happens. He's not prepared, so he comes down. Now finally his feet hit the ground. It's too late. Ace into the forehand side. He makes his move. point being that if you've got a guy who serves as well as Rusedski, you pretty much got to commit yourself one way or the other. If he gets his first serve in, you're in trouble.
And you got to do your split step, really time it perfectly so that as soon as your opponent serves the ball, you've hit the ground and you're ready to move either direction.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. You can see where Rusedski was when he came into net. He was behind the service line. He knows he has to try to get in, but just way too much time for Rios. And made that shot 99.9 times out of 100. Race number 3 for Rios. Their easy service game so far.
You know, the danger for Rusedski is when he has tested those waters trying to come into the net like that. Rios has just passed him effortlessly, but he's got to keep doing it because the alternative for him, I think, is even worse.
Well, Rios has been so successful returning the second serve of Rusedski, and Rusedski's first serve percentage is very low, but he's still in the second set. He's only lost serve once, remember, and he's having a bad serving day so far.
Bad is being kind. He's having a terrible serve day. Got 1 in 4 only.
That's great anticipation from Rusedski right there.
But Luke, that momentum on the serve can change, don't you think, for Rusedski?
Well, he can only get better from here on that first serve percentage. And plus, what Patrick mentioned at the beginning of the show, he's got mental toughness. He's not going to give up. He's going to try to find his groove. He's never going to quit.
Big one up the middle.
That's his 4th of the day.
141 there. You know, it's funny because before we say, wow, 141. Now it's like, well, there's 141. Ho-hum. Big deal. Seems to have Marcelo Rios. Rusedski has been quite effective when he gets the first serve, and he hasn't lost a point, but he's only had 13 points. He's gotten the first serve, and he's won all of those. Make that 14.
Serve is looking a little better now, and Greg Rusedski changes ends in front still in the second set. No breaks against Rios yet. 4-3. Welcome back, everybody, to this spectacular part of the world, the Palm Springs area. Specifically, this is Indian Wells. It's a Hyatt Grand Champions resort, and on a day like this, you can do just about anything. Golf is out there, the beautiful pool at this great hotel, and then this magnificent tennis complex, including seats for 11,500 people. It is full for this men's singles best-of-5 set final match. We're live from Indian Wells. Marcelo Rios won the first set. It's on serve in the second. Cliff Drysdale, Patrick McEnroe, Luke Jensen at courtside.
New balls now for Rios. Swings out wide. Rusedski says that new balls. He's ticked off because Rios didn't show him the new balls. Rios doesn't seem too concerned. That's kind of an unwritten or really written rule amongst the players. You always show your opponent the new balls. Sign of respect. Rusedski not happy about that move by Rios.
As I think I was saying earlier, Rios is not bothered by the small niceties of life.
Most of the time when you do that, the player who forgot to show the ball says, "Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot." Rios just kind of shrugged at him.
Said, "Hey, deal with it." 30-15. Interesting statistic here. Service games won for Marcelo Rios. He's only lost his serve 3 times. 3 times in the 4 matches that he's played here at the Newsweek.
Oh, great coverage from Rios at net. Doesn't have that reach that Rusedski has, but he's got great quickness. Excellent anticipation. That's what I've been talking about Rios, the fact that he's been serving so well this week. Makes him so dominant because his return game is so strong, and when he holds serve easily, the pressure just mounts on his opponents.
Patrick, I think the thing I like about his game more than anything is what you said a couple of games ago. He always seems to be in position for the ball. He's just perfectly placed. His balance is magnificent. He's going to have to be overpowered by Rusedski. It's the only way he can be beaten. Cat and mouse with him is not going to work. He's an expert at that. 4 games all in the second.
A couple lefties battling here, Cliff. Last time we had the all-lefty final was 76 in this tournament when Connors took out Roscoe Tanner in Palm Springs. Connors also the last lefty to win this event in '84. Took out Yannick Noah there. A lot of lefties doing well this year. We had Cord and Rios in the Australian Open final.
Just going to say, it's a second all-lefty final of the major this year. His serve is getting a lot better now.
Yep.
7 aces.
That's what he wants, a quick hold, quick service games. Well, I guess that's what Rios thinks about Rusedski getting ticked off about him not showing the new balls. Just rips the forehand right at him. I thought maybe Rusedski was going to go right at him with that one. Step up the intensity a little bit here. You're right, Cliff. Rusedski's serve is definitely picking up now.
Game point.
Got a good rhythm going.
Lob is not high enough. Easy put away for Rusedski. They'll change ends on serve. 5 games to 4. Rusedski leads. Rios won in Auckland before the Australian, then played the final of the Australian. It's been a good year for the Chilean so far. Rios won the first set 6-3, 1 breaker serve. There has only been 1 break in the match. 5-4 now. Rusedski leads Rios to serve. Saturday on ESPN2, Major League Soccer returns for a new season. Kansas City Wizards take on the 2-time defending champs, the guy who put together the original World Championship Tennis. 30-year reunion of World Championship Tennis. 8 original players.
Handsome 8.
On Friday, you said it, Friday at the Lipton.
Were you in there, Cliff? Oh, nice going.
I slipped in.
Rusedski just hasn't been able to get one of those first 2 points ever on Rios' serve. Rios seems like just about every game he's up 30-love, and that takes a lot of pressure off the server.
See, I don't think Rusedski had a game plan outside of I'm going to try to chip and charge and attack a second serve or short balls. From the ground, I think he's got to have a game plan B, which is, maybe attack the forehand, maybe get into rallies against the backhand. It just seems like he's out there just hitting balls instead of with any type of strategy or any direction.
Yeah, he hasn't made any impression on Rios' serve in a long, long time. Rios is just ambling through his own serve games, even now, 5 games all. Talking about Rusedski, you have to remember that in May of '95, he said that he wanted to exercise his option to become a British citizen and play for Great Britain in the Davis Cup competition. And that is what he did. So he swapped the maple leaf for the Union Jack, and still people in England can't quite get used to the fact that he talks still exactly like a Canadian.
Well, he throws in a couple little English sayings here and there when
Which
he's
makes
over
it
there.
worse.
Whoopsie daisy.
But now that they've got Tim Henman, between he and Henman, who is also a top player in the world, they've got a very solid Davis Cup team, the British.
There's that last smash, and you can see Rusedski just pull his head down a little early.
That was right in the sun, Patrick. That ball landed at contact point right in the sun. He had to pull off of it.
That's why, Cliff, you know, when your local pro tells you keep your eye on the ball, that's the first thing you should always do. And Greg Rusedski, these last 2 points, is just taking his eye off it ever so slightly. And now Rios with a chance at love 30.
How big is this?
Just taking his eye off it ever so slightly, and now Rios with a chance at love 30.
How big is this point? 5 games all. He's up a set, and it's love 30.
That's the first time he's taken a little bit off the first serve and mixed it in. Needed to get that first serve in there. Still a chance for Rios. Took a little off that one again, went into the body. Smart serving.
30 all. Oh boy, that's another big one. Rios doesn't like that call. When Rusedski said that he wanted to become British, of course, Britain's a country that's not yet totally comfortable with the concept of choosing your nationality, but they're going to get used to this man, and they voted him the most popular athlete in Britain last year. Rusedski comes back 4 in a row quickly after being down love 30. So Rios will serve when we come back to get into a tiebreak. What you are watching is live coverage of the finals, best of 5 sets of the Newsweek Champions Cup, everyone. Well, welcome back, everybody. Cliff Drysdale, Patrick McEnroe sitting alongside, and at courtside about 2 feet. In fact, if he hit a backhand right now, Luke Jensen would hit Greg Rusedski on the head. Is Luke Jensen, and you are watching live coverage here of the Newsweek Champions Cup. We're in set number 2. It is 6-5. Rusedski leads first set to Rios, 6 games to 3. There is Luke. How's it down there, Luke?
You know, I'll tell you that the clouds have been coming over, so it's nice and cool now. Slight breeze.
Only the second time now in the match, Cliff, that Rusedski's won the first point of the game on the Rios serve. And that's gonna maybe make Rios just a little tight. But Rusedski bricks that return. Fleet shank on that one. 15 all. A good serve.
Rusedski's decided to take a couple of steps forward, even on the first serve of Rios, to try to create something, shorten up the backswing, and push it back deep to get into the rally.
Had that one well sighted, just didn't make the shot.
Well, there's a Rios serve profile. His first serve percentage pretty good, 66%, 82% first serve points won, but the key is percentage of second serve points won, 75%. That's remarkably high.
When you win 3 out of 4 on second serve, you are controlling your serve games, and that's exactly how it's been. Tie-break time, first to 7 with a 2-point lead wins the second set.
Well, this is huge right here for Rusedski, and I think this may end up determining the match, because if Rios gets up 2 sets to love, he's a tough guy to come from behind against.
Still good anticipation from Rios. He held his ground. Rusedski hit it right back into him. He just didn't make the shot. Rios has got an uncanny feel for the right strategic play in a match. It's extraordinary. It's beautiful to watch. 1 to Rusedski. apiece.
Beautiful swinger out wide there. Short into the box, meaning not that close to the actual service line, but up the sideline. If you, the shorter you can hit that in the court, the better. It opens the court up much more. Particularly when you're relying on placement as opposed to power. Oh, Rios just measuring it again. Decent point from Rusedski. Got the return back in play, got into net, made the volley, but again, he's at stretch, and he's actually being dictated to even when he's at net. Rios just has too much time.
Couple of big points here now. Rusedski serving down 1-2.
Well, that's a big monster right there. 140 up the middle, ace number 9.
His serve has looked a lot better lately. And he never needed first serves more than he does right now in this match. It's wide. Rios is putting his hands up in dismay. 3-2 Rusedski.
Well, this was an incredible return, a stab, and then he sets up this forehand. He's got plenty of time. And look where this ball lands, maybe just wide. Rusedski actually points to it and maybe influencing the call. And Rios cannot believe.
Can we see it again quickly? Is there any chance? That was so close.
Lars Graf, the chair umpire. So cool and calm. And a big point in the tiebreaker. Here's that last point again. Here's that forehand. Look where this one lands, and it looks, God, that's tough to call. It might have just caught there.
Might have caught the outside edge. Players are changing ends even. 3 points all in the tiebreak. Second set, first set to Rios.
I really have the feeling right now it's going to take one little mini break on serve for someone to win this tiebreak.
Well, that call. There was a matter of millimeters, and that could be the difference right there. 3-all.
Another good serve from Rios. Pressure mounting now on Rusedski.
I think that Rios has hit so many great passing shots that Rusedski is a little gun shy about getting in, and I think it's a mistake.
He's won way less than 50% of the points.
But I don't see that he has any alternative.
You can see muscle in that serve a little too much.
3-4.
You can just see, sense that coming a little bit. It really felt on the first serve. He didn't relax on it. Now Rios has got that lead at 3-5.
Four, 2 points away for Marcelo Rios.
Rios taking his time. He's going to put a lot of thought into where to hit this serve. He's used that swinger out wide very effectively. Larry Stefanki, his coach. There it is, a swinger right in the corner.
Set point.
Skidded off the line, Cliff. Rusedski had no shot. I think he's going to try to pull this one out wide again.
He did. Set point. Rusedski finally made it work, and he is back on serve. He's serving now, but it's set point still on his serve.
Well, Rios just didn't go for that pass as much as he has. Rusedski took a chance and cheated for the down the line and really knocked off that volley nicely.
Oh boy, stay right there, everyone. The players are going to change ends. It's 6 points all. Marcelo Rios had 2 set points.
Great composure right there, Cliff, from Rusedski, because remember he bricked those 2 easy volleys, very similar to that one he just had, and down set point to go down 2 sets to love. He just picked his spot and went for his target.
The big one, though, was the approach shot on Rios' serve at set point for him, where he took that volley and just molded. 6-6. A slight chink in the armor of Rios, because earlier in this match he wouldn't have missed that forehand.
Exactly what I was thinking, Cliff. A little bit of pressure.
Set point Rusedski now.
That looked tight right there.
Watch him chip and charge here.
He answers the call there, doesn't he, Cliff?
It's still the right play. It is still the right play from Rusedski.
It's worked for him, and this time, maybe I think he just should have gone down the line. It's easy hindsight, but he opened the court up too much for Rios. If he'd gone down the line, Rios would have had less to work with.
Off the line. Off the line. Rios is not going to get a call, and Rusedski has got a set point on his own serve. He leads 8-7.
No, I don't think he wants a call. I think he knows it was just a right off the edge of the line. He's going to talk to the umpire, but I don't think he really believes that ball is out. I think he's just upset. Rusedski caught a little break, because when the ball hits the line here, it really skids off the white paint right there. That ball definitely on the line. Nice set point on Rusedski's serve.
Let's second serve.
And it's sweaty palm time up here. Down there.
Definitely down here, Patrick. Big second serve for Rusedski.
Oh, he serves a double fault serving for the set. That's his 5th. 8-all. Rios had 6-4. 2 points for a 2-set lead.
Ooh, that looked good to me.
For the last 12 games or so, he would have made going away. That time, though, with a little bit of pressure on him, Rios misses a relatively easy pass for his talent level. And now it's another set point for Rusedski. Can you believe that?
Oh, he was right there.
Thing set up for him. It was a duck.
Was it that easy? I don't know. Here's the approach. Clips the net. It got behind him a little bit, but maybe if hands a little bit quicker, he could have handled that.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not suggesting. I mean, it was a tough shot for him to hit because the thing hits the net, and he has to react.
Man, oh, man.
But if he's 6 feet behind there, where he happened to be,
right.
Easy shot. 9 points all in the tiebreak. You're watching live coverage of the Newsweek Champions Cup, everyone. Rios and Rusedski, tiebreak, second set.
Just dumped that backhand into the bottom of the net there.
First set to Marcelo Rios behind 1 break of serve. There have been no breaks in the second. This is the tiebreak set point now at 10-9 for the Chilean.
The longer this breaker goes, the bigger it gets.
Open final against Patrick Rafter, taking on a man who plays the Australian Open final this year against Peter Korda.
Rios really did not attack that second serve, though. He actually took it from behind the baseline. Normally, he's right inside that baseline. Played it too safe.
10-all.
Paid the price.
11-10, Rusedski.
Rios has only won 1 point. Rusedski's got his first serve in. 29 out of 30 for the Brit.
Set point. Fault. Second serve.
Cool, calm, and collected on that one. That approach, though, down the middle, it just wasn't deep enough and not low enough. But he did, as you mentioned, Cliff, he put the pressure on.
And he's got away with a couple of those in the tiebreak. Right? 11-all.
Rusedski hit the net. He ran into the net, Cliff.
Point over. I wondered why he turned around and walked, but that's exactly what happened.
Goodness, what has not happened in this tiebreak?
And it was called by Lars Graf in the chair. Watch this.
Great forehand right there. Rusedski, you can see he just touched the net with, I think, his left foot right there. Let's see if we can see that. Watch his left foot come forward. Just there, maybe it's his left arm there. Just skimmed it. Immediately, the Lars Graf called it. Set point for Rios now. Oh, baby.
Now, unless you actually touch the net, it is not against you, but I think it was that 11 aces, by the way. I think it was that left foot of his that touched the net. I think he knew it right then and started to walk.
Composure from Rusedski, just a step right up after that. Playing a great point, knock off an ace out wide. Let's see if we can see that again, Cliff, right here. Let's take a look at his left foot right here. As he comes in, he makes the volley. You see how low he gets. So right now his left is coming forward. Yeah, it looks like that's what hit it.
Yep.
Whew.
Just to clarify the rule, and that is you can break the plane of the net with your swing as long as you don't hit the ball on the other side of the net. But if you touch the net with any part of your body, you lose the point. 12-13, Rusedski. This is another set point.
His fifth. Oh. Oh, yet again. He comes up with the pass down set point. This is turning into the one of the tie breaks for the ages right here. Look at that flicker.
Again, I don't argue with Rusedski's tactics getting him in there, but it was, you know, it was too short.
13 apiece. 14-13 for Rios.
Now set point for Rios, this time on Rusedski's serve.
What number set point is that for Rios? Number 5. Oh boy.
Just to stay on their feet there was just about miraculous, but they both did, and Rusedski finally puts that big left-handed overhead away for the winner.
Incredible stab from Rusedski right there on the backhand. He got enough stick on it to make Rios have to scramble, and then he comfortably, well, not comfortably at 13-14 in the breaker, but puts it away.
14-all. Big serve, and now it's set point again for Rusedski.
Big one out wide there.
Rusedski again, he's going to try to put pressure on the little Chilean if he gets a chance.
Well, he tried to run around, and he had that lined up, that forehand. Ooh.
Smart play, didn't work. 15 all.
Well, they're going to have to wait for the lines person because they got to switch sides now. No one's played a tiebreaker that's gone 15 all.
Every 6 points.
Oh my goodness. Wow, just loving this right now.
30 points in this tiebreak alone. That's out.
Well, I had a feeling that Rios was going to lose that point because earlier in the match he would definitely have come in on that short backhand, and he elected to move in and then move backwards, getting a little tight and then just hooks this wide.
Set point on Rusedski's serve. The 8th for him. He puts it away, and Rusedski has won the set. I'll tell you what, that is one for the ages. Yeah, maybe.
Well, maybe.
It was beautiful to watch. Some great tennis. Pressure, pressure, pressure is the name of the game. 1 set all. Okay, take a deep breath, everybody. Man, that's tiebreak in the second set was really something. Number 6 seed here, Greg Rusedski, U.S. Open finalist. Live coverage as he takes on Marcelo Rios, who played the final of the Australian, losing effort to Peter Korda. Tiebreak second set to Rusedski. Rios won the first set behind 1 break of serve, and it's 1 set all.
Well, what intrigued me about this match as I was looking forward to it today, Cliff, was just if this type of match materialized. If Rios got up, Rusedski hung in there, you know he's going to always be there. Now we're going to see a little signs of the mettle of Marcelo Rios. If he can come back, gather himself. Now he's, no question, in a dogfight.
He made a couple of passing shots in that tiebreak there, down set points that were brilliant, but he missed a couple of passing shots that really cost him.
Well, I think that at one point, as I mentioned, when he definitely should have come into net, and he was thinking about it. He took a step or two forward, and then he retreated. And now Rios comes to net, serves and volleys, up again 30-love. Didn't see any of those serve and volleys from Rios in the tiebreak. Oh, what a dropper there.
1 game to love Rios in the third. Sampras going down to Thomas Muster in straight sets, Patrick.
Really did not play good tennis at all in this match. And Sampras was very down on himself after this loss to the Moo man, Thomas Muster. And of course, Andre Agassi, his comeback continuing strong. He took out a couple seeded players, U.S. Open champ Patrick Rafter. But he lost to this man, Jan-Michael Gamble, who's really having his breakthrough year, Cliff.
Gamble had an outstanding tournament, beating Courier and Agassi, and I would not be surprised to see him play for the U.S. in the Davis Cup against Russia the first weekend in April.
12 aces for Rusedski now.
And we'll be there for ESPN.
be surprised not to see him playing in the second singles match along with Agassi. He's, I think, clearly playing the best tennis out of any of the other available candidates at this moment.
Well, I thought Courier had a good chance of doing it, but then when he destroyed Courier so handily.
Very easily took out Courier. He also beat Philippoussis in the first round. And it hasn't been just this week that Gamble's played well. He took out Nicholas Kiefer last week in Scottsdale.
Lost to Agassi. In fact, he's lost to Agassi twice this year so far. Gamble is a player. He's got two hands off both sides. He can hit the forehand with one hand as well. A lot of variety of shot. 30-15 Rusedski, second game, third set.
Going after his volleys with a lot more authority, Greg Rusedski now did in that opening set. Luke, you talked to Gamble after his match that he lost last night, and he seemed to be pretty eager to play that Davis Cup tie potentially.
He was still calling himself a practice partner, and I said, no, it's a sparring partner. Practice partner doesn't look good. But, you know, he reached the quarters of Memphis, reached the quarters of San Jose. He's winning matches. He's in top form, and he's always learning. If you watch Gamble play, he loves to, you know, he's lost to Agassi twice before this tournament, and he learned a lot from those matches. He keeps on getting better. Like Rusedski here in this match, Rusedski just keeps on going at Rios, and he guts out the tiebreaker. Now a set apiece.
Wide game. Rusedski 1-all. Look, I give you that Rusedski has got a great serve, although let's tell it like it is, guys. For the first set and a half, he served like a dog, 25% basically.
But it was his mental toughness that kept him into it, and he kept on looking for his opportunities. Every time he got past, he didn't get discouraged. He kept going after Rios, and it paid off in a deep tiebreaker.
But to have only one breaker serve in this match so far is an extraordinary statistic.
And that was his first service game.
Yep.
For Rusedski. That's just a sign of his competitiveness that he's able to serve poorly the first set and a half and to only lose serve once.
So Rusedski still has a problem with answering the Rios serve. I mean, how is he going to dig himself into games and try to break the Chilean? And I don't think he has a strategy again. He doesn't know which wing to go to on Rios. Maybe try to bring Rios closer to the net with some short slices.
I'm not sure there is a strategy against Rios, Luke. I think that's the problem, is because he's so solid off both sides. I think, as I mentioned, he moves forward so well. He can come in and finish the points. Another ace for Rios, so he's back up 2-1 in the third, one set apiece.
Marcelo Rios is so important to his game. Let's take a look at some of the important elements of it. At this stage, you can see his elbow is slightly bent when he takes it back, but just see how he rotates the shoulders, and he rotates them really early, and that's what takes the racket back. You see how he's rotating, and as he rotates, the racket goes back. Now, he doesn't take it too far back, as you can see at this stage here. Very controlled movement. Freeze it there. Now let's take a look here. You can see there's this open stand situation. You can see how his eye is directly and beautifully on the ball. He doesn't let it get away from him for a minute. Now he comes through on it. The racket will come down before it comes up. And look at that, how again the body rotates as he swings into it. You see how there's a coil and an uncoil into it, and even though he was there facing sort of, you know, that was a defensive forehand, he fully controlled the shot.
I like the way he broke his wrist right before he made contact with the ball, enabling himself to get under it. And all his shots are just kind of flow. There's no mechanical side to any of his ground strokes. It's all one easy motion.
That's the point I'm trying to make with that thing, Patrick, is that flow is so important. The balance and the timing for him. It's a joy to watch. 15 love.
Guys were playing with new balls now, and Rusedski went to a new pair of sneakers.
That's what Rios was doing earlier in the match, and he got away from it a little bit in that second set as it got tight. Not attacking the second serve as much, taking it early. Rusedski's first serve percentage has been going up. 50% in the second set from 33 in the first, and then it's up even higher, but we're still early here in the third set.
Having a little more luck with these volleys as well now. It might be a reason, or one of the reasons might be because Rios is not hitting them quite as well, but he seems to have, he's hitting them more authoritatively.
Speaking of authority right there. That was a nice second serve, too. He swung it out wide, but Rios full stretch. Able to find that angle. That's the danger sometimes of going out wide, particularly on the second serve when you don't go for as much as you open the court up for your opponent. Whoa, great body blow there. Rios not expecting that at all.
Yeah, he hit a bunch of body serves at me this morning in practice. And I mean, that's a scary feeling when he says, hey, I'm going to your body. Like, hey, you know, take it easy, man.
Thanks for warning me. No warning Rios, though. See, this is where I think it's getting a little more dangerous for Rios now, Cliff, because even though Rios is holding serve easily, his hold game is quite a bit different than Rusedski. He's got to rely on maybe hitting more shots, whereas Rusedski's, now that he's in the flow on his serve, can win those games a lot easier.
I agree
just
with
hitting
that.
one shot, basically.
Yeah, I really do agree with that. I think that Rios should try to throw a little different look at Rusedski now when Rusedski's serving, actually.
Still Rios continuing to come up with those flickers off the ground.
But you know, the Australian attitude was for so long that this is what you do, and if you get past like this, you say, hey, well played. But except you got to make 51 out of 100 to win the match.
Rusedski can change it up, though. He's been going a lot to the Rios forehand. The Rios forehand has been on fire. Maybe change it up and try to approach the backhand of Rios.
That time he tries to come over that one. See him taking a practice cut there. Net points won. Rios has only been up there 13 times, won 9 of them, and Rusedski's at 45%. Actually, believe it or not, that's an improvement from what it was earlier in the match. So at least it's getting better.
It's amazing what it says about Rios's passing shot.
That one had some stick on it right there. That throw shot.
It's almost like a miss it, though. He didn't mean to cut it that fine. He was trying to go to the backhand of Rios, and he just got lucky.
Rusedski didn't like that call.
And Rios took a little look over there as well, as if to say, I don't think that one was good either. This has been an emotional match so far. Marcelo Rios and Greg Rusedski. They are even on serve. 3-2 in the third. 1 set all. Marcelo Rios leads 3-2. Greg Rusedski of Britain to serve. This is live coverage of the Newsweek Champions Cup. The best in ladies golf taken to the links in Phoenix, Arizona. The standard register ping. And Laura Davis could make history. She wins this tournament for the 5th straight year. It would be Annika Strong-Stamp, Pat Bradley, Nancy Lopez, all trying to unseat the defending champ. Coverage begins today, Thursday rather, at 4 p.m. Eastern Time.
Marcelo Rios trying to win his second Mercedes Super 9 title. Go along with Monte Carlo last year. Reached the final in Rome where he lost to Alex Correia, Italian Open final. It's the first Mercedes Super 9 final for Rusedski. Of course, the U.S. Open final was an even bigger one for Canadian-born British player last summer. Ooh, man, that one, 141. Ace number 13. Rusedski on that first volley, and then great anticipation. Serve percentage by set. Rios fairly consistent.
Big one is Rusedski. They're getting better every set.
Exactly. On the first serve, he's been unbeatable. He's 14 aces. He's won 41 out of 44 points when he gets his first serve in. So he has the luxury of going for some big second serves there. He knows if he gets the first in, he's in good shape. 6 doubles now. Still game point for Rusedski. 140 on that serve, and Rios just blocked it back.
Sure did. It looked like he had all the time in the world.
Yeah, right.
Big point here, deuce.
First chance.
3-2.
Set. That's the one I was talking about earlier. The little mix-up there came with some big heat on the last 3 in a row. And that time it was just 107 on the first serve.
It's a real chess game out here, because this time on that return of serve, Rios stood back, like the one before where he stood in and just blocked it. So he's playing games with Rusedski's first serve, trying to find an answer.
Well, he's listening to Cliff. That's what Cliff said he should do a little bit earlier.
Cliff knows all.
Ooh. There's that whipper on the backhand. Then he blocks the return low at the feet. Rusedski forced to half volley it. And plenty of time. Look at the early preparation. He keeps his top of his body so still. Goes long.
Rusedski became a British citizen and announced that he was going to play for Great Britain, as we mentioned earlier. And then very shortly after that, he wins 3 rounds at Wimbledon before Pete Sampras beat him. And that was big news in London.
He made the quarters last year at Wimbledon, along with Tim Henman. They both made the quarterfinals.
And as you were saying earlier, Patrick, he is a potential candidate to win it this year. I mean, you've got to say Sampras is obviously the odds-on favorite to win Wimbledon again, but you've got guys who serve as well as he does, and Ivan Nizovic, for example, or Richard Krajicek, who surprised everybody by winning it a couple of years ago. But he's definitely one of them.
Well, he's got to improve his return a little bit. I think he's definitely has improved his volleys, as we've seen here today, and he's moving very well. He works incredibly hard, Greg Rusedski, on his fitness, on his movement. That's a nice play. That's the kind of shots he could use at Wimbledon. Coming over, blocking the return, and then blocking the pass up the line. Very tough to win Wimbledon without a good, solid return game to go along with the big serve. And look how he takes that on the rise.
This year at Wimbledon, last year, he beat Mark Philippoussis, Jonathan Stark, Andrew Richardson, who is a countryman of his, and Richie Renneberg.
Or Cedric Pioline, the Frenchman, took out Rusedski.
4.
Rios getting a little unnerved. He's got to be careful here at 3-all. Love 15.
That is just long. The approach, nevertheless, worth a try. But as you said, he's got to get nervous at at love 15 on his serve, because if he loses his serve, well, Rusedski hasn't lost his other than the first serve game of the match.
Blink and this set will be over. Oftentimes, obviously, the guys that have won Wimbledon in the past years all have big serves. They also put together big return games to be able to break other big serves. Even when Krajicek won Wimbledon, remember how well he returned that year?
Yep. This is live coverage of the Newsweek Champions Cup that you're watching, everyone. Cliff Drysdale here beside me, Patrick McEnroe at courtside. It is Luke Jensen. You're watching Marcelo Rios taking on Greg Rusedski. We're in the 3rd set. First set went to the Chilean easily. Rusedski won the second in an extraordinary tiebreak. What was it, 17-15?
Yep.
Now we're in the third on serve, 4-3 Rios. Muster, who at our next stop at the Lipton Championships on Key Biscayne surprised everyone, including himself, maybe not. Thomas Muster won it over Sergio Bruguera in the final after Bruguera had taken out Pete Sampras in the semi-final. The Lipton Championships and our coverage continues as we will bring things to you midnight next Sunday on ESPN. From Key Biscayne.
Great couple weeks of tennis, isn't it? Starting off the spring season with the big one out here in the desert and going down to South Florida.
It's honestly my favorite time of the year, Patrick.
I think the tour has a real good flow right now. You start out the beginning of the year, or at least the North Americans, in the cold, and you go down to Australia, and it's nice. It's a beautiful tournament.
Approach shot was on the line, outside edge.
Hey, Rusedski is really moving so much better, I think, right now. He does great coverage right here at the net, drops this one over, but Rios, look at that. He'd make sure he didn't hit the net. Notice that, Rios made sure. Watch this. Watch the little steps he takes. You have to be very strong and quick just to stop. Great body control there. Rusedski, good attempt, but just misses long. Body blow right there. Rusedski's really mixing his serves up well.
Number 1 in the world, Pete Sampras. Number 2 in the world at the moment, Peter Korda. The winner of this match between Rusedski and Rios will be number 3 tomorrow.
And I gotta say, it's really tough to pick right now, Cliff, who's going to be in that position. There's very little between these two at this stage.
The loser will be number 5.
I have to say that I just get the sense that as the closer it is, the tighter it is, it favors Rusedski. Just because of the way his style of play, he's always going to attack. Yeah. Oh, see, that's the thing. Rios is hitting those shots at most of the points, but when he gets to those crucial stages, can he continue to come up with those?
Will Rusedski demand that he keeps coming up with those? That's the other question. 30 love. Easy game for Rios.
It's like a spot pitcher, Rios, doing maybe those new shoes for Rusedski giving him a little trouble. He's been fiddling with his ankle, and most of the players use orthotics, Luke. Does he look like
he's got an orthotic in there. He's just adjusting that.
Rios, another easy service game.
Yep.
Oh, he just measures that.
On serve in the third, 5-4. Rusedski to serve when we come back to our live coverage of the Newsweek Champions Cup from Indian Wells. The next one. In Monte Carlo, in Hamburg, in Rome. French Championships in Wimbledon. And then back to the good old US of A. Greg Rusedski, Marcelo Rios here in the final match. Best of 5 sets. We're in the third. On serve, 5-4 to Rios.
And only one break in the whole match, Cliff. That was in the second game of the match. When Rusedski dumped his serve in love. Maybe won 1 point that game. But started a little slowly. Gave Rios the first set. Rios has clawed his way, Rusedski's clawed his way back into it. That's where it gets frustrating for a player like Rios, who loves to move around, play a lot of shots. All of a sudden, the opponent is bombarding you with big serves, and look how quickly Rusedski's playing. He's ready to serve. He wants to swing that momentum in his favor by playing fast.
No problem on that game, and we are even at 5 games all.
How many seconds did that game take? That was about, I don't know, 35 seconds maybe?
I think. Are you waiting for a plane to catch or something?
No, I'm just amazed how fast this guy plays. There's that Mercedes Super 9 schedule you've been talking about, Cliff. Key Biscayne next week. He's the defending champ. Rios, defender at Monte Carlo, Hamburg, Rome.
And the Canadian after Wimbledon.
There's the second half of the season. Chris Woodruff, the American, won there. This year it's in Toronto. They rotate back and forth between Montreal and Toronto. Cincinnati, Sampras won there. Stuttgart and Paris. 2 indoor tournaments after the U.S. Open. Whoa. Rusedski showed he has a little anticipation as well, and that overhead, Rios just massaged it down the middle of the court.
Actually, was a big point at love 15.
Look at this. This is the one where it went down the middle. Rusedski said, what a bonus. Just stuck his racket out. 15 all. I think he's making a mistake by trying to come over the backhand. He's done it on some big points on 15 all, 15-30. I think he should just chip it and make Rios come up with something.
30-15.
It's not his go-to shot, that backhand return that he tries to come over Rusedski. That's the one.
I agree, and that was one of the few times that Rios has not made the pass, but you know what? You don't need that many when there have been so few breaks that you just already mentioned. 30 all. His friends and family call him Chino because he has that sort of Asiatic features. Take a look at that.
Only break points a whole match. Rusedski's 0 for 2.
6 in total. Game point for Rios. He's actually asked sometimes about whether he has some Indian blood in him, sort of South American Indian blood. I mean, he bristles at that a little bit, but certainly looks more like that to me than Asiatic. Game point. Deuce, look out, big points here.
He's whiffed that one, Rios. I think he's really hoping that Rusedski's going to make some errors here. If Rusedski can just tighten it up. Pressure on Rios, he might be able to sneak out his first break of the match. As I say that, he dumps the return in the middle of the net. Not quite the bottom, but the middle. Now he says, well, I should go over it. He's confused. Now I'm confused, too, as to which one he should try to play there.
Game point. That's why, remember, we showed you earlier on the show, Rusedski, your pretty dismal percentage of breaks of serve, just 17%. Well, that is still true. But we're even on serve in the third. The important part of Greg Rusedski's game is his slice shot of the backhand side. He can use it either defensively as he does here, or let's roll it, or he can use it as a slice approach shot. You see this full shoulder rotation. Freeze it there, thanks for right there. Now, do you see how his eye is on the ball? He's way sideways. Then let him come through now as he makes contact with it. It's an arm motion here. The upper body has not started to rotate yet. That's very important. Now let it go all the way through. Then eventually the shoulder comes through. But you see how it is an arm on the one-handed backhand, high to low for slice.
Only 3 winners off that backhand side for Rusedski today, Cliff, and 15 unforced errors.
Oh yeah, he doesn't use it as an offensive weapon. Absolutely not.
Oh, that's beautiful play at net from Rusedski. Great scramble to pick up this backhand volley. And then he knocks off the easy forehand.
15-all. Marcelo Rios' dad is a partner in a large construction firm. His mom, actually, Alicia, she's the one who's the tennis player. She became nuts about tennis a few years ago. Actually, more than a few years ago, and then Marcelo followed her. That's what I keep telling folks in this country. If your parents play, you play. Don't forget the older folks.
Nice little break from Rusedski there, but he had good positioning on that volley.
30-15.
That's what happens. You get yourself in good position. He's closer to the net. So you might catch those little breaks there. 16th volley winner for Rusedski. 2 points away from another tiebreak. Oh,
It's the body play.
that was a serious body play. That hit him, didn't it, Luke?
Yeah, it did hit him. Rusedski is getting stronger and stronger as this match goes on. It's a little over 2 hours now. You can really see how Rusedski's starting to lean on Rios.
Well, let's talk fitness level, Luke. I mean, Patrick and I have been saying about Rios and how he works out every day, whether he plays or not. How do you see Rusedski on that scoreboard? Luke, Rusedski fit enough to stay with his best of 5 all the way? I think we lost our man down there.
Yeah, I'm sorry, you lost me for a second.
Sorry, Luke.
My battery's going dead.
Luke, we were just talking up here about the fitness factor coming into the match, how you think that Rusedski's maybe gaining in strength. Is he as fit or as Rios is, do you think?
I don't know. It's a different type of fit. I think Rusedski's powerful. You know, he's always intimidating with his strength, with his serve, whereas Rios is so fast. We've seen so many good examples of the passing shots, the balance.
Double fault.
8th double fault for Rusedski.
2-zip to Rios.
We're not going to have another breaker like we had in the second set. Thanks, Cliff.
Tough to imagine.
Back to the lead serve. I remember Rios had a mini break early in that second set tie break. That slip away, of course, eventually turned out to be the most incredible tie breaks I've seen. 17-15 for Rusedski. 2-1 now, Rios. Well, he's attacking now early in the tiebreak,
Which he didn't do in the second set tiebreak.
Exactly. Let's see if he continues to go after Rusedski.
(3-1) Rios. Oh, that's just anticipation. Rios hit the shot, but Rusedski knew that he had to go one way or the other. Keep your eye on Rusedski here on this replay and see why he's able to get it.
Well,
Makes the move there.
You see that little fake? Yeah, he faked to go down the line, and he really held it to the last second before he moved. And then he's really close to the net, too. He's been getting closer and closer to the net. Rios has not thought about the lob for quite some time. Back on serve.
2-3. Oh, he got away with it. Half volley drop shot. And let me tell you that is not a shot that is regularly in Greg Rusedski's repertoire.
Particularly not off the frame, like I think that one was. But good things happen, Cliff, when you're attack and you're aggressive. You play your game. Rios hit an excellent return. There's no way, even with the speed of the Chilean, that he could track this down. And he knows that he was a bit unlucky on that. There's that half volley. Ball behind him and off the top of his frame. And a little backspin just to make sure.
Marcelo Rios has a reputation for sometimes bagging a match if things don't go his way. Now, I haven't seen that at all this year. See if he hangs tough.
He mentioned that last night after the match with Gamble. He said, I think the difference this year is that I'm not going to give up. I feel stronger in matches, and I don't get as frustrated when I get down.
A beautiful shot from where he was.
Oh, you're not kidding, Cliff, because that ball had some bite, that Rusedski backhand. It landed short, very low. Watch this backhand right here, and watch how he threads the needle over the high part of the net. Enough margin, and that ball, just watch how low this puppy stays. And Rios just stays with it. Beautiful backhand.
4-all. And now 5-4 to Rios.
Man, that backhand was something else. Particularly when you know that if you miss it, you go down 5-3 in the breaker, and Rusedski can then serve the set out. That's what makes it so impressive to pull that shot off.
Everything you pointed out was true. The ball was low, net was high.
Let's see if Rios tries to attack the second serve, go after it, take it early. Yes, he did, Cliff, he did. And he kept that return low, thus forcing Rusedski to have to give him something to look at on the pass.
And then he went for power on the pass instead of trying for an acute angle, and it worked. Set points here for Rios. That is out, and Rusedski has lost the third set to Marcelo Rios. Rusedski a half volley wide. In the second set, Rusedski won the tiebreak. In the third set here, it is Marcelo Rios who wins it in the tiebreak. No breaks of serve in the set. Tiebreak in the third to Marcelo Rios. Not exactly like the second with all its drama and length, but the score is the same, 7-6. The winner of the set is different, Marcelo Rios. So he leads by 2 sets to 1. Nicolas Pereira is one of the South American players, and he says that Chilean people are a breed of their own. Like other people from the South, including Argentina and Uruguay, they're very reserved. They're not as trusting and open as people in the tropics. This explains a little bit about his personality. And he suggested he wasn't completely prepared for what he would find in the world, Marcelo Rios. Interesting personality, very different kind of a guy. But he's ahead in this best-of-5 set final by 2 sets to 1.
Well, he really showed me something in that third set, because if he was going to come on nerves, it could have been early in that set after losing that tough second. Dealing with some tough moments in that third set as well, as Rusedski picked up his serve. Rios really kept his composure and his competitiveness. He's going to have to put Rusedski away.
How do you see it now, Luke?
Well, I think that's the play that Rios has to continue to do. We've seen him so many times try to come up with great passing shots, and now Rusedski's leaning all over the net. Even though Rios missed the shot, I think it's a smart play.
Rusedski taking an extra look at the service line as his 9th double fault is registered. Quickly 30-all here in the first game of the 4th. It was always a little bit of a lull in the match for the players after a tough tiebreak. This is where it becomes dangerous. Get down an early break. Rios is usually the one outfoxing his opponents and holding the ball till the last second, but Rusedski has really been guessing, anticipating his passing shots so well in the last couple sets.
Rusedski holds on. First game of the 4th set. Rios up by 2 sets to 1. $361,000 to the winner today. Love Rios. Attempted approach down the middle, and he looks to me, Luke, like he's walking a little gingerly. This shoe business, he had to change his shoes.
Yeah, I don't think it was more of an injury. I think what happened was he was, like I said, feeling strong going into the 3rd set tiebreaker, and it took a lot out of his sails in a sense where I think, not that he's down, but like Patrick said, there's a lull in the match, and if Rios can expose it right now, maybe jump on Rusedski and get an early break in his 4th set, he might be able to run the table.
30-15.
You have to remember that Rusedski's not used to playing these really long matches, not used to moving that much, and you know, serving the way he does, Cliff, it takes a lot of energy to do that, and it's just consistently run.
But he's having to work today. Now that is a great point, but you know, when you take such a risk when you hit that slice approach, because you can hit it a lot shorter. This one is perfectly played. Watch it.
Plays it right up the line, and he covers the line. I'm telling you, his volleys are really impressed me today. The painting so well. The way he went after that backhand volley again, because it was a decent attempted pass by Rios. He really went after that backhand volley. 2 hours, 16 minutes. Yeah, that's frustrating. That was just his 3rd break point of the match and did not even get the ball in play.
It's tough because he had decided to chip and charge, but the 2nd serve was so deep and had some heat on it. It was tough to control.
2nd serve, though, Cliff, you got to make your opponents play when it's break point.
Live coverage of the Newsweek Champions Cup is what you're watching, everyone. Glad you decided to join us for these moments. You have joined us with this match locked. Rios and Rusedski. We're in the 4th set. 2 sets to 1. Rios leads. He's from Chile. Played the Australian Open final rather against Peter Korda this year. On the other side of the net is Greg Rusedski, who played the US Open final in a losing effort to Patrick Welton. Cliff Drysdale here. Patrick McEnroe alongside, and Luke Jensen at courtside. 4th set, 1 set all. And a tiebreak for the ages, to quote Patrick in the 2nd set.
You're not gonna forget that, are you, Cliff?
That is a nice ring.
Just got excited. I'm getting into it.
That's a nice ring.
When's the last time you saw a 17-15 tiebreak in a big final?
It was a tiebreak for the ages.
Glad to know that you agree. 140 up the middle there.
15 all.
He's number 17 for Rusedski.
Excuse me, 30 love.
I think you're right, Cliff. I think Rusedski is tiring just a little bit. I noticed it on his serve a little bit in that first service game of this set. Maybe it is a little bit mental, having lost that last set in the tiebreak, knowing you have to win 2 sets now.
I also think what you said, and that is he's not used to these length of matches. I mean, 2 hours and 19 minutes out there. And you have to serve with a full tank of gas, and he has been since the beginning of the match, and it does take it out of you.
I think he has a little limp. He's favoring, I think he's out of a blister or something, because he's not really has a good walk to himself right now. Laboring a little bit.
Double digits on doubles now for Rusedski, number 10. Go along with his 17 aces. No double faults for Rios, just 4 aces for the Chilean.
Rios is 22 years old.
Next.